All right. So, unfortunately, I'm unable to be there today, but I wanted to go over the notes with you just in case some of you were having a little bit of troubles with them. So, I want to start with number 3 because that's where we left off. So, how do you do this? You start by writing down what we're given. And remember what I said earlier yesterday. Underline what you are given and circle what you're asked to find. So I have 4 moles of NH3, and then what has to go on the bottom to cancel? 1 mole of NH3, and remember these act as parentheses. I want the mass, so what can go on top? My grams of NH3. What number goes in front of the grams? The number from the periodic table. So add up 1 N and 3 H's, and you get a total of 17.04 grams for the NH3. When you're solving this, take the number out front, multiply by what's on top, and divide by what's on bottom. And you get 68.16, and make sure you label it. It's grams of NH3. If you want to go back and make sure you did it right, you can always double check your units. So your moles of NH3 cancel, and you're left with grams of NH3. This next one, underline what you're given, circle what you're trying to find. So I am given 3.45 grams of H2O. What has to go on the bottom of the parentheses to cancel? Grams of H2O. What number goes in front of the grams? The number from the periodic table, always. What always goes on the opposite side of grams? 1 mole of the same substance. So make sure your units cancel appropriately, and you take the number out front, multiply by what's on top, divide by what's on bottom, and you get 0.19 moles of H2O. This next one, don't let the scientific notation scare you. You have 8.0 times 10 to the third grams of kaolin. What has to go at the bottom of the parentheses? Grams of kaolin. Now, when you're figuring out this grams, it's a little bit difficult. So you have 2Al, you have 2Si, you have 9 oxygen, and you have 4 hydrogen. So 2Al, 2Si, 9 oxygen, and 4 hydrogen. This 4 goes to both the O and the H. When you add those up on the periodic table, you get 258.14. What goes on the opposite side of grams? 1 mole of kaolin. You can double check to make sure your units cancel and your grams cancel. You take the number out front, multiply by what's on top, divide by what's on bottom, and you get 30.99 moles of kaolin. Any questions on those ones? We're going to move on down to these molecule ones. These are a little bit different. So, we left off with number 2 for this one. Remember, underline what you're given, circle what you're looking for. So I'm given 4.65 grams of aluminum sulfate. What has to go on the bottom of my first parenthesis? Grams of aluminum sulfate. When you add this up from the periodic table, you get 342.17 grams. What always goes on the opposite side of grams? 1 mole. I'm going to squeeze parentheses in here. Of the Al2 SO43. But I don't want moles. I want molecules. This is the only step that I could do first is grams to moles, because I cannot go straight from grams to molecules. So that means I have another step. What has to go on the bottom of the next parentheses? 1 mole of aluminum sulfate to cancel. And then you're looking for molecules, and hopefully some of you know that there are 6.02 times 10 to the 23 molecules in 1 mole. If you want to use 6.022, that is fine. 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd, that is fine. Let's go back and cross our units out. Our grams cancel, our moles cancel, and you're left with molecules. The final answer is 8.18 times 10 to the 21st molecules of Al2 SO43. Not too bad, you just have 2 parentheses. Let's do another one. So you're given grams and you're asked to find molecules, similar to what we did in the last problem. So we write down our 5.23 grams of KCl. Our grams of KCl has to go on the bottom. What always, always, always goes on the opposite side of grams? 1 mole of the same substance. If you want, you can write your parentheses in there. What number goes with the grams? 74.54. You add it up from the periodic table. But I don't want moles. I want molecules. I'm just going to put the end parentheses since they have that middle line. So what has to go at the bottom of this parenthesis? 1 mole of KCl to cancel, and then you're looking for molecules. And it's 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd molecules. Let's see if our units cancel, your grams cancel, your moles cancel, and you are left with 4.22 times 10 to the 22nd molecules of KCl. This next one, so you're given the same amount of KCl, but you're looking for chlorine atoms. If you guys got this one, you guys are awesome. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, all right. So we have 5.23 grams of KCl. When you're given grams, there is only one step to do, and that's grams of KCl on the bottom, 1 mole of KCl on top. The periodic table mass goes in front of the KCl. Now I'm being asked, I don't know why I keep putting that middle line in there. I'm being asked to find specifically just chlorine. So in order to cancel out my units correctly, I know 1 mole of KCl has to go on the bottom because that's what's up here. And I know that there's 1 Cl in 1 KCl. And then my next step, I know that there's 1 mole of Cl, and there's 6.02 times 10 to the 23 atoms in 1 mole of Cl. This is a little bit different. So you had to do this first step to cancel out your grams. You had to do this next step to cancel out your moles of KCl. And then this last step was changing your moles to chlorine atoms. Your answer, ironically, is 4.22 times 10 to the 22nd chlorine atoms. It's the same as the previous problem. So, hopefully that will clear up any misconceptions you were having, and you'll be able to complete the homework. All right, I'll be back tomorrow to answer any questions you're having.